it's Ruby, and today I'm going to be showing you all of the books that I read in May. Outside you might be able to hear that it is pouring down. It's been really rainy and blustery all day. It's been gorgeous. It feels like autumn. I'd also like to point out that if you can see something on my head, it is a scar. I ran into a tree. Keep in mind that I did have exams this month, which is why I didn't read quite so much as I did last month, and also why my books are perhaps straying more towards contemporary fiction. The first book that I read was Finding Perfect by Ellie Swartz, and this is about a girl who has obsessive compulsive disorder. She is obsessed with everything being in line, everything being just so, and she's trying to cope with the fact that her mother has just moved across the country and things just seem to be falling apart for her. She's always been a perfect child, she always felt like she had a perfect life, and now she's trying to restore that sense of perfect, but everything is becoming incredibly imperfect. It's really just highlighting that nobody can be perfect. The second book that I read is The Smell of Other People's Houses, which was shortlisted for the Carnegie Award. This is about 4 teenagers in Alaska in the 1960s. It's about how all of these people's lives interact and how everybody's lives do interact. Mirroring the words of John Donne, no man is an island. And I think one line to sum up this book would be, you don't have to be blood to be family. The next book I read is If on a Winter's Night a Traveller by Italo Calvino, and this was incredible. The narration is just something that I have never seen before. It addresses the reader in the second person, so you become the main character in the story. You've got the reader and the other reader, and these are the principal characters in the story. Incredible, something you will definitely not want to miss out on. The next book is Counting by Sevens by Holly Goldberry Sloan, and I think this might be one of the best middle grade / young adult novels that I've ever read. It was just beautifully heart-wrenching. It's about a young girl called Willow, and she is a genius, nothing short of a genius. She loves to learn. That's something that I really admired about her. So she's obsessed with gardening and also diagnosing people with medical disorders. And I just love it when in a book you've got all of these interesting facts which are thrown at you because you actually learn even though you're reading fiction. Precocious protagonists always make the best ones, I think. But this young girl, Willow, she's 12 and her parents both die in a car crash. So she's left alone, and it's really about her trying to come to terms with this and finding closure. The next book that I read is The Conservationist by Nadine Gordimer. It's about a man called Merling who lives on a farm and his relationships with the other people in South Africa. This is set during apartheid in South Africa. It's really written as a stream of consciousness, so I found it was quite hard to get into at parts, simply owing to the fact that it's very ambiguous. It's written assuming that you understand what's going on, if that makes sense, which of course can be both good and bad. Then the next book I read is Before I Fall, which I've heard a lot of good things about. It's another young adult novel, a girl who dies in a car crash, and then she goes back and she lives this day again and again. It's a bit like Groundhog Day, and it's kind of her changing the day and how she can affect other people, and it's really just highlighting, again, no man is an island, the fact that we do have such an influence in other people's lives. The next book is What I Was by Meg Rossoff, and this is about a boy who's 16 and it's about the summer that he found love. He falls in love with a boy called Finn. It's exploring homosexuality and how this was so controversial in the 1960s, but it's done beautifully, and it explores gender very well. I really recommend it. It's set in a boys' boarding school, and this boy Finn lives outside of the school grounds in a cottage by himself. Then the last book I read is Goodbye Mallory Towers by Pamela Cox, which is quite young for me, but I love the Mallory Towers books, and especially during exam season it can be nice to sit back with an old childhood classic. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed and have a productive week.